Hello students, welcome back. So for starting today's class, let us first chant Brahmanath. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So last class we have studied about what is electrolysis and what are the products formed after electrolysis. So during electrolysis. But so when molten sodium chloride is electrolyzed, then sodium is deposited at cathode and chlorine gas is liberated at anode. Similarly, when aqueous solution of sodium chloride undergo electrolysis, then then oxygen gas is liberated and another hydrogen gas is liberated. So different products are formed. But what is the amount of the substance produced by the passage of electricity? That is given by Michael Faraday in 1883 in the form of two laws that is called Faraday's laws of electrolysis. So today we are going to study here uh, Faraday's laws of electrolysis. So we put forward two laws regarding this electrolysis product. Okay. So one is it is Faraday's first law. And another Faraday's second law. So what is Faraday's first law? Okay. So the what is this law? So this law states that the amount of the substance deposited or liberated at the electrodes during electrolysis is directly proportional to the quantity of electricity passed through the electrolyte. Okay. So the amount of substance deposited or liberated at the electrolysis, the amount of substance deposited or liberated during electrolysis is directly proportional to the quantity of electricity passed through the electrolyte. Through the electrolyte. Okay. So the amount of substance deposited or liberated during electrolysis is directly proportional to the quantity of electricity passed through the electrolyte. Passed through the electrolyte. Okay. So if W is the amount of substance deposited, if W is the amount of substance deposited or weight of the substance deposited, W is the weight of substance deposited, and Q is the charge or quantity of electricity, then according to Faraday's first law, W is proportional Q. W is proportional to Q, where W is the weight of the substance deposited and Q is the amount of current passed through the electrolytic solution or molten electrolyte. And you know that charge equal to current in ampere in time in second, and we know what this is equation 1 suppose, and we know Q equal to I into T, where I is current in ampere and T time in second. So in this way is proportional W is proportional to I into T, or W equal to some constant Z into I into T. Okay, what is this Z? This Z is called this is the proportionality constant, also called electrochemical equivalent. Okay, so W is the weight of the substance in gram, I is current in ampere, time T in second, and Z equal to electrochemical equivalent. Okay, so when that means when I equal to 1 ampere and time T equal to 1 second. When I equal to 1 ampere and time T equal to 1 second, then what happens? Then this weight of the substance W becomes equal to Z. Okay. Then W equal to Z. So what is this electrochemical equivalent? When I equal to 1 ampere and time T equal to 1 second, then W equal to Z. That means electrochemical equivalent is equal to the weight of the substance deposited when 1 ampere of current passed for 1 second, or we can say 1 coulomb of electricity is passed. Okay, so electrochemical equivalent is equal to the weight of the substance when 1 ampere of current passed for 1 second, or we can say when 1 coulomb of electricity is passed through the electrolyte. Okay, so this is known as W equal to Z. Next, so substituting. Okay, so experimentally it is found that, so what we get in general we get the equation that W equal to Z I into T, and W equal to Z when I equal to 1 ampere, time T equal to 1 second. Okay, so experimentally it is found that when 1 Faraday or 96,500 coulomb of electricity is passed through an electrolytic solution, then 1 gram equivalent of the substance is deposited. Okay, so when 1 Faraday is a larger unit of charge, or 96,500 coulomb of electricity is passed through an electrolytic solution, then 1 gram equivalent of substance, is deposited. That is equal to, we can say, suppose E gram. So 96500 deposit 1. Then what happens when 1 coulomb of electricity is passed? 1 coulomb of electricity is passed. Then what is the amount of substance deposited? When 96,500 coulomb of electricity passed, then it deposit E gram of the substance. And when 1 coulomb of electricity is passed, then what is the amount? That is equal to E by 96,500 gram per coulomb of the substance is deposited, and this is 1 coulomb is equal to what? When I equal to 1 ampere, T equal to 1 second, or 1 coulomb of electricity is passed, the amount of substance is known as what? Z. So instead of this Z, we can put this E by 96500. So hence Z equal to E by 96,500 gram per coulomb, or we can say that is equal to E by F gram per coulomb. A gram per, we can say farad. Okay, so this is equal to equivalent mass, gram equivalent mass into 1 farad. Okay, so substituting these values here in this equation, what we get? Substituting these values, what we get? W equal to E by EIT, E into I into T divided by 96,500. So I into T, Z equal to E by 96500 coulomb, and again we know that is the equivalent mass of the substance equal to atomic mass by valency. So in this way we can also write A into I into T by N into F. A into I into T into N into F, this 96,500 coulomb, that is equal to 1 Faraday. So in this way, I can write N into F. So what is A? This is equal to atomic mass of element which deposited, and N, that is equal to valency of element. So this is equal to valency of element, and this is atomic mass of element. Okay, so this is our first law. Okay, so when the amount of substance deposited at the electrode is directly proportional to the quantity of electricity passed through the electrolytic solution. In this way, we derive the equation W equal to EIT by 96500 coulomb, or W equal to AIT by N into F. Okay, so this is your Faraday's first law. Next, move to Faraday's second law. Second law of electrolysis. So what is the second law of electrolysis? So this is one application of this Faraday's first law, we can say. So when the same quantity of electricity is passed through different electrolytic solutions connected in series, then the mass of the substance deposited at the respective electrodes is directly proportional to the equivalent masses. Okay, so when same quantity of electricity is passed through different electrolytes connected in series, then the masses of substances deposited, then the masses of the substances deposited at the respective electrodes is directly proportional to the chemical equivalence. Or you can say equivalent masses. Chemical equivalence or equivalent masses. Okay? For example, suppose we take 3 voltaic cells containing, suppose we consider 3 voltaic cells containing copper sulfate solution, silver nitrate solution and acidulated water. It contains copper sulfate solution, it contains silver nitrate solution, it contains acidulated water, that is dilute H2SO4, and the respective electrodes are there, different electrodes are there, and these electrodes are connected in series. So this is the battery, this is the source of electricity, and these are connected in series connection, and this is also okay. So this is positive, negative electrode, positive electrode, negative electrode, positive electrode, negative electrode. So this is cathode, this is your cathode for this is cathode for this. This is your voltammeters or different electrolytic cells are connected in series. Then here copper deposited, here silver deposited, here a hydrogen gas is liberated at cathode. You know what is the product formed? Okay. Then according to Faraday's second law, what that is equal to weight of copper. Okay, weight of copper deposited by weight of silver deposited equal to equivalent mass of okay. So now I am drawing this. Weight of copper deposited by weight of silver deposited. If we consider this first two, weight of copper deposited by weight of silver deposited equal to equivalent mass of copper by equivalent mass of silver. Okay. Similarly, if we consider these two, the second voltage cell and third voltage cell, so weight of silver deposited by weight of hydrogen liberated. For gas is generally used liberated, for metal deposited. Weight of silver deposited by weight of hydrogen liberated, that is equal to equivalent mass of silver by equivalent mass of hydrogen. Equivalent mass of silver by equivalent mass of hydrogen. Okay, or in general, what W is proportional to E. So this is known as your Faraday's second law. So in first law, what is W is proportional to Q, and in second law, W is proportional to E. Okay. So this is 3 voltage cells, then weight of copper. Okay. weight of copper by weight of silver equal equivalent mass of copper by equivalent mass of silver. Similarly, weight of silver by weight of hydrogen, equivalent mass of silver by equivalent mass of hydrogen. Similarly, consider these two, 1 and 3. Then weight of copper by weight of hydrogen equal equivalent mass of copper by equivalent mass of hydrogen. Any two you can compare, or all total you can compare. Okay. So what we get here? That is W, suppose Cu by W Ag equal to equivalent mass of copper by equivalent mass of silver. And we know that each, suppose we divide each of the right side by 96,500, that is the charge of 1 mole of coulomb by E silver by 96,500 coulomb. Then what we get? WCU by WAG equal to, so equivalent mass by 96,500, that is equal to what? Z of Cu by Z of Ag, ZCu by ZAG, that is also you can say ECU by EAG. So this is the combination of Faraday's first law and second law. This is Faraday's first law, this is Faraday's second law. Nowadays, this concept was generally changed by mole concept. Okay, this concept was changed by mole concept. So what is the quantitative aspect of this Faraday's first law? So now here, what is Faraday's first law and second law? According to first law, weight is proportional to quantity of electricity, and according to the second law, weight of the substance is proportional to the equivalent masses. Okay. So nowadays, instead of this equivalent masses, this concept was now changed according to the mole concept. So consider what is the product of electrolysis. We know, suppose consider the example of sodium. So at cathode, Na plus ion receives from electron and it forms Na. Na plus electron gives you Na sodium. Okay, look here. Suppose one atom of sodium ion and receive one electron to form one atom of sodium. Similarly, if we consider about 1 mole of sodium ion, then it receives 1 mole of electron and form 1 mole of sodium. Okay, so 1 mole of sodium ion receives 1 mole of electron, forms 1 mole of this. And what is the charge of 1 mole of electron? You know, the charge of 1 electron is 1.6 10 to the minus 19 coulomb, and charge of 1 mole of electron 6 into 6.02 10 to the 23, that is equal to 1 Faraday. So for 1 mole of any ion, 1 mole of the sodium require 1 mole of charge. 1 mole of charge for the production of 1 mole of any substance. Okay, similarly, if you consider calcium, it has charge Ca2 plus, it requires 2 electron and it gives Ca. That means if you consider 1 mole of calcium, it requires 2 mole of electron to form 1 mole of calcium. Similarly, if you consider aluminium, Al3 plus 3 electron gives A. That means, suppose 1 atom of aluminium requires 3 electrons to form 1 atom of aluminium. Similarly, 1 mole of aluminium ion require 3 moles of electron for the production of 1 mole of aluminium. So from that, what we conclude? From this, what we conclude? First look, charge of one electron, 1.6 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb, and then charge of 1 mole of electron, that is equal to 1.6 10 to the power minus 19 multiplied by 6.02 10 to the power 23. Okay, so this value equal to 96485, nearly equal to this much coulomb, and this value is generally 5486 coulomb, and this value generally we put what is this value, that is equal to 96,500 coulomb. So to make it a whole number, 96,500 coulomb generally. So for 1 mole of electron, that is equal to what? 1 Faraday. So for the involvement of, if for the production of 1 mole of, any substance, it involves n mole of electron, then it requires n Faraday of electricity. Okay, for the production of 1 mole of any substance, if n mole of electrons involved, then it requires n Faraday of electricity. Then it requires n Faraday of electricity, or we can write n into 96,500 coulomb of electricity. So from this relation, we can calculate the different terms. Okay. So different problems can be solved using this Faraday's first law and second law. So from this Faraday's first law, generally what we found? We found W equal to ZIT, and also found W equal to AIT by N into F. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this is the constant term. So in this constant term, other 5 terms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms are there. So in these 5 terms, if any 4 terms are given, then another term you can calculate. Similarly, according to Faraday's second law, W1 by W2 equal to E1 by E2. It is also helpful to find out the equivalent mass of the substances. And if there are 4 terms, only 4 terms, if 3 terms are given, then another term you can calculate. Okay. So now after completion of Faraday's law, let us solve some problem. How much charge is required for the following reduction? 1 mole of Al3 plus 2 aluminum. Look for the equation. Al3 plus 3 electron give rise to Al. Okay, so 1 mole of aluminum ion, for the formation of 1 mole of aluminum, it requires 3 moles of electron. So the charge of 3 moles of electron, charge of 3 mole of electron, 1.6 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb, charge of 1 into 6.02 10 to the power 23 into 1 minute. That is equal to 3 into 1.6 10 to the power minus 19 into 6.02 10 to the power 23. So this value you know, 1 96,500, that is equal to 3 into 96,500 coulomb, that is equal to 289,500 coulomb. So this is the charge required for the conversion of 1 mole of L3 plus to aluminum, or simply 3 Faraday. Okay. Next come to 1 mole of Cu2 plus to Cu. Same type of question. Cu2 plus 2 electron is Cu. So charge involved here 2 mole. So 1 mole of, if you require 1 mole of this, and it forms 1 mole of copper. That is equal to, so 2 mole, 2 into 96,500 coulomb. Okay, or simply that is equal to 2 Faraday. Similarly, 1 mole of MnO4 minus manganate ion, or manganate ion to Mn2 plus, or manganate ion to Mn2 plus. Okay, what is the expression? MnO4 minus is converted to Mn2 plus. So how many electrons involved here? Here you have to find out what is the oxidation number of manganese. So here the oxidation number of manganese is Mn2 plus, and here the oxidation number of manganese is plus 7. For the conversion of plus 7 to plus 2, there is it receives 5 electron, gain of 5 electron, so plus 5 electron. Mn plus 7, 5 electron, Mn2 plus. This involvement of 5 electron, or if you take 1 mole of this, then it requires 5 mole of charge for the formation of 1 mole of Mn2 plus. Now charge, that is equal to 5 mole, in this way 5 Faraday, or 5 into 96,500 coulomb. Okay, so this is the charge required for the coulomb of this reduction. Next come to question number 2. How much charge is required for the oxidation of 90 gram of water? So, what is the equation for 90 gram of water? How much electrons involved here? You have to first find out. The equation is 2H2O e raised to 4H plus O2 plus 4 electron. This is loss of electron, in this is oxidation of water. Okay, loss of electron here. This is oxidation. 4H plus. So for 2 mole of water, it requires 4 mole of electron, or 4 mole of charge. For 2 mole of electron, it requires 4 moles of charge. Okay. Then what is the weight of 1 mole of water? That is equal to 18 gram. Don't know. So 2 moles equal 4 mole. Then what is the 1 mole? Then 1 mole of water. 1 mole water requires 2 mole of electron. 4 mole required. So 2 mole water required 4 mole of electron. In this say 1 of electron. So weight of 1 mole of water equal to 18 gram. That means 18 gram require 2 mole of electron. So 18 gram of water require 2 mole of electron for its oxidation. Then 90 gram of water require 2 by 18 into 90, that is equal to 10 mole of electron. What is the charge of 10 mole of electron? So now charge equal to 10 Faraday or 10 into 96,500 coulomb. 9,65,000 coulomb. Okay, this is the charge required for the oxidation of 90 gram of water. Next come to another question. How much atoms of calcium will be deposited from the fused calcium chloride by current of 25 milliamperes passed for 60 seconds? So from here, first you either find out what is the mole of calcium or what is the weight of calcium deposited. Okay, but either you find out the amount of calcium in terms of mole or in terms of weight. Then you can convert it into, then you can calculate what is the number of atoms. Okay. So how many atoms of calcium will be deposited? What is given? So current I equal to 25 milliampere that is equal to 25 10 to the power minus 3 ampere or 0.025 ampere. And what is the time given? 60 seconds. Okay. What is the equation? Calcium chloride Ca2 plus the present calcium as Ca2 plus 2 electron give rise to Ca. That means what is the atomic mass of calcium here? The atomic mass of calcium is here 40. And how many moles? 40 gram per mole. And how many moles of calcium is present? 1 mole. So atomic weight, atomic weight 40 gram. And if you consider the mole, that is equal to 1 mole. Ca2 plus 2. This is equal to 2 mole. Okay. So 2 moles means 2 into 96,500. Okay. So I equal to 25 ampere, P equal to this much. Then what is the value of Q here? What is the value of Q here? I into T 0.025 into 60. So you have to find out this value. Then 965. Then 2 into 96,500 coulomb of 2 into 96,500 coulomb of electricity or charge. You can write down charge deposit 1 mole of calcium. Then 25 into 6 multiply this, so given 0.025 into 60 coulomb of charge deposit 1 by 2 into 96,500 coulomb. So multiplied by 0.025 25 into 60 moles of calcium. Okay, and again, you know 1 mole of calcium, that is equal to 6.02 10 to the power 23. The number of atoms, 1 mole of calcium, 6.02 10 to the power 23 atoms. Then this much number of moles, 0.025 into 60 by 2 into 96,500 mole of calcium. Mole of calcium equal how much? It is equal to 0.025 into 60 by 2 into 96,500 into 6.02 10 to the power 23, and calculate this value. We will find this answer, that will be 4.68 10 to the power 19 number of atoms. So this much number of atoms are present. Next come to another problems. Calculate the electrochemical equivalent of zinc and silver and the atomic mass given. So we know this electrochemical equivalent Z equal to W by I into T. W equal to ZIT or Z equal to W by IT. This is the answer for question number 4. So W equal to W by I into T. If different current given, time given, and according to the weight given, then find out W by I. Another relation also we know, Z equal to equivalent mass by Faraday, E by F. Z equal to E by F. This is also another equation. So we know zinc. Zinc has valency 2 and its atomic mass is given 65. Then so Z equal to E by F. For question number 4A, so zinc given atomic mass 65 and its valency is 2. So in this way, its equivalent mass is Z equal to 65 by 2 and what is the F value? F value is 96,500 coulomb. So when you put this value, what we find? So we find this next value, find 0.000 and 336, I think 0.0336 gram or coulomb. So the Z value, the electrochemical equivalent of zinc is this much. Next for silver, and silver the atomic mass is given this much and the valency of silver is what? The valency of silver is 1. As the valency of silver is 1, so Z value for silver 107.8 divided by valency 1 into 96,500 coulomb, that is equal to 0.00111 gram per coulomb. Okay, so its value is 0.00111. 7 is also another there. Okay, 0.001 gram per coulomb. So this is the electrochemical equivalent of silver and this is the electrochemical equivalent of zinc. Next come to question number 5. how much electricity in ampere is required to liberate oxygen gas at the rate of 1 ml per second. So what is first keep in mind, when 1 farad of electricity is first, then it deposit 1 gram equivalent of the electrolyte. And what is the gram equivalent weight of oxygen? Gram equivalent weight of oxygen, or 1 gram equivalent of oxygen, 1 gram equivalent of oxygen, that is equal to 8 gram. And you know the molecular mass of oxygen is 32 gram, and 32 gram has volume at NTP, that is 22.4 liter. So in this way, volume of 8 gram of oxygen, that is equal to 22.4 by 32 into 8, 5.6 liter, or 5600 ml. Okay, so this is produced when the electricity is how much? When the electricity is 96,500 ml. So we can write 96. Okay, 5600 ml of oxygen liberated by electricity, how much? 96,500 coulomb. Then 1 ml of oxygen liberated by electricity, that is equal to 96,500 by 5600 ml, that is equal to 17.2 coulomb. So this is equal to coulomb is equal to what your current. So this is equal to 17.2, that is equal to coulomb means 17.2 current. So 17.2 coulomb to find, and it is given. So you know this charge equal to this coulomb equal to current in ampere and time in second. That means what is the amount of current? So current equal to charge by time, that is equal to 17.2 coulomb by 1 second, 17.2 ampere. So the amount of electricity in ampere required is 17.2 ampere is required to liberate oxygen gas at the rate of 1 ml per second. Okay. Next come to question number 6. So simply by putting this formula, put the formula and get the answer. When a current of 0.15 ampere strength is passed through salt of metal for 150 minutes, 0.783 gram of metal was deposited. Find the valency of the metal. So either you solve this by unitary method or solve by just putting the formula. Put the formula and get the answer. So we know W equal to Z I into T, and again we know Z equal to E by F into I into T, and E equal to A into I into T by N, A by F equal to E into F. Already this formula we know. And what is the given? So given W equal to weight of the substance 0.783 gram, 0.783 gram, and I given, that is equal to 0.15 ampere strength passed through the metal, and time T given 150 minutes, that is equal to 150 into 60 second, and time given, and another F value So you know I, T, and atomic mass is also given F 96,500 coulomb, and atomic mass A is also given, that is equal to 112. So substitute all these values, then find out this M. So what is this M then? So M equal to A into I into T by W into F, that is equal to 112 into given I equal to 0.15 time given that is equal to 9,000 divided by W given, that is equal to 0.783 and 96,500 coulomb, and solve this. You will find 2.001, and this is the valency is always a whole number, so the valency is 2. Okay, so you solve this, calculate this, you can find out this value. So this is equal to, you will find out the value is 2. So the valence of the metal is 2. Next come to some other problems. A solution of copper sulfate is electrolyzed for 10 minutes with a current of 1.5 ampere. What is the mass of copper deposited at the cathode? Given molar mass of copper is 63.5 gram molecules. So given copper sulfate. From that you know what is the valence of copper? The valence of copper is 2. Okay, so just put the formula. W equal to A I T N into F. What is the A value? 63.5 given. Okay, so here I am just trying to solve this. So 7, okay, W equal to A into I into T by N into F. So A given 63.5, I given how much? 1.5 ampere, time given 10 into 60, 10 minutes into 60 second divided by N, valence is 2, and F 96,500, and just multiply and divide by this, and you will find the answer is equal to 0.296 gram. So the answer is 0.296 gram. Okay. Next come to question number 8. Two electrolytic cells containing silver nitrate solution and copper sulfate solution are connected in series. A steady current of 2.5 ampere was passed through them till 1.078 gram of silver were deposited. How long did the current flow? So, applying up to this, apply Faraday's first law. What is that? W equal to A I T by N into F, and here given that the atomic mass of silver is 107.8 and that of copper is 63.5. Okay, so you have to find out what, how long did the current flow. You have to find out T. What's T? This implies that T equal to W into N into F by A into I. So for silver nitrate given, weight given 1.078, 1.078 multiplied by 1 valency 96,500 divided by a 107.8 into I given 2.5. Okay, just solve this. So 96,500 by 2.5, these two terms will be cancels easily. So this answer you find out that is equal to 386 seconds. 386 seconds, that is equal to, if you put it in minute, then how much you get? That is equal to 6 minutes and 26 seconds. 386 seconds. Okay, this is one formula. Up to this you have to apply Faraday's formula. What weight of copper will be deposited? So you know that is your Faraday's second law. So here you have to apply Faraday's second law. What is that? Is equivalent mass of copper by equivalent mass of silver equal to weight of copper by weight of silver. And what is the equivalent mass of copper? You know the atomic mass of copper is 63.5. So this implies that 63.5 by 2, that is equal to 31.75 into equivalent mass of silver 107.8 by valency is 1 into weight of copper divided by weight of silver 1.078. Okay, so this implies that weight of copper equal to 63.5 1.078 divided by 107.8 by 2. So 1.078, 107.8, how much value you get? That is equal to 10 to the power minus 2. Just to multiply 10 to the power minus 2, this term cancels. 10 to the power minus 2 here. Okay, 63.5 by 2, that is equal to 31.75 by 2 into 10 to the 31.75 into 10 to the power minus 2, 0.3175 gram. So 0.3175 gram of copper will be deposited. Next come to question number 9. A current is passed through two cells connected in series. The first cell contains XNO33 and the second cell contains YNO32. From that, what is the valency of X3 and the valency of Y is 2. The relative atomic masses of X and Y are in the ratio 1:2. What is the ratio of the liberated masses of X to that of Y? So, from this question, let the atomic mass of X equal to A. Then the atomic mass of Y 1:2, that is equal to 2A. This is suppose A and then this is 2A. What is the valency? Valency of X, that is equal to A. The valency of X, and from this formula we know 3, and valency of Y that is equal to 2. Okay. Next, what is the equivalent mass? Equivalent mass of X, that is equal to A by 3, and equivalent mass of Y, that is equal to 2A. The atomic mass is 2A and valency 2A by 2. Okay, so this is the equivalent mass of Y, this is the equivalent mass of L. What is the second law? That is equal to weight of A by, weight of X, weight of X by weight of Y equal to equivalent mass of X by equivalent mass of Y. Okay, equivalent mass of X by equivalent mass of Y. So what is the equivalent mass of weight of X by weight of Y? Equivalent mass of X by equivalent mass of Y. So this is given A by 3. So 2A divided by equivalent mass A by 3 divided by A, that is 1 by 3 is to 1 the ratio between X and Y, the weight of X and Y. The weight of X, Y is 1 by 3 is to 1 or 1 is to 3. Okay, so the weight of the ratio of liberated mass of X to Y is 1:3. Okay, so for today, up to this, next class